Hey everyone, so I'm coming to you live from my favorite place to visit when I'm on Guam, visiting Frank here at Guam Windward Memorial. This weekend was nothing short of transformational, and I know that there was a ton of people that were interested in attending this past workshop that I had. But I also know that I wasn't able to take everybody. It's always an intimate group. I don't take any more than 15 people at a time. But I also know that there were a lot of you that were interested, but not quite ready to take that step into doing something so different and, let's face it, uncomfortable, right? When you're having to deal with grief, when you're having to deal with human emotions, when you're having to do with events in your life that you may have suppressed for a long time, and bringing those back up again is scary, and I definitely get that. But I want to talk a little bit about this weekend without sharing who was there or what their stories were, because those are all confidential. But it's just the validation of the work that I do with the grief recovery method, and how amazing it is for people to go through this and transform their lives and experience healing on a level that they never thought could be possible. And so, I do this work, and honestly, I don't think I do it often enough. Hi, sister-in-law. I don't do it often enough, and I should, right? But a lot of it too has to do with fear. And there's a lot of fear around doing this work, but there's also a lot of fear for the people that maybe want to experience healing, but are not sure what that is. And so one of the biggest takeaways, I think, for me this weekend is the validation of what grief is, how it's defined by the Grief Recovery Institute. And that is, grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior. And the key word there is change and also familiar. So even though we may be experiencing sadness, depression, an unhappy life, it's familiar. And for a lot of people, they don't know how to get out of that familiar. And so being able to make a change in their life, even if it's a change for the better, even if it's a change that means that they're going to heal in a way that they never thought possible, it's still unfamiliar territory. So I get why there's so much fear around that. When these participants walked in on Saturday morning, I could see all of their faces, nervous, scared, unsure, definitely not smiling when they walked in. When they left Sunday afternoon, it was sad. It was sad for us to leave each other. No one wanted the weekend to end. It was amazing. We created relationships with people that we met for the first time. Imagine that. In just 2 days, people that were strangers became family. And that is one of the magical things about the grief recovery method. And so again, it just validated to me just how important this work is. And when I was talking to the group and sharing my story, because I always share my story about Frank and our love and how he died and the reasons that I came to doing this work. And in the beginning, I had shared with them that I always would come up and talk to Frank and tell him how much it sucks that I'm here in this place. It sucks that he's gone, and it's the reason that I'm here and doing this work. But as time went on, and as I evolved as a grief recovery specialist and as a person, those perceptions or those beliefs that I've had changed from it sucking. I always miss him. I will always miss him. But it sucking has turned into so much gratitude, because I get it, We all are not going to live forever. Frank is doing some amazing things with God in heaven. I believe that. Doesn't matter if you believe it, I believe it. And I'm here doing amazing things on earth to heal people. Of course I wish we could be doing these things together. Of course I wish that we were growing old together. But you know what? It's not for me to decide those things. It's not for me to decide what's going to happen in the next moment of life. All I could do is control now in my present moment. And yeah, it's because Frank died that I get to help other people heal. And I will always be grateful that I have been able to look beyond the death of my husband and see the meaning of the pain and the purpose that I now have. And so gratitude consumes me all the time. And I get that people can't necessarily see that right away, and that's okay, right? That's okay. But to be able to share the grief recovery method, to be able to share my story, to be able to honor Frank in this way, so that people can then be able to see beyond their pain, to be able to find peace in knowing that some of the answers in life are never going to be answered, but still be able to find joy and purpose despite all of that. I get to do that. I get to help them do that. And that is so amazing. And so this weekend, I'm definitely sad that I had to say goodbye to all of the people that I helped this weekend. But I'm also so excited to see their journeys unfold because it's going to be so amazing. And we became good friends and we became family. And so we're all going to keep in touch. And guys, if you come on here and you're watching and you were there this weekend, no pressure, but if you have the courage to come on and comment and talk about what this weekend did for you, that would be so amazing, because it's not just about me and what I think about the grief recovery method. It's about all the people that go through it. It's about all the people that I've helped teach this method so they too can learn how to transform their pain into purpose and to find joy and happiness and gratitude and peace despite all the losses that they've experienced. And so I will continue to do this work for as long as people will want to learn how to heal. And it just gives me an opportunity to always share Frank with the world. I don't think he knew how famous he would be after he died. And, he was kind of one of those guys that would prefer to be in the shadows and push me up into the front and speak, even though a lot of those words were his. And so now he is shared and people around the world know who he is, never met him, but feel like they do know him because I've shared so much about who Frank was, who he still is to me and my kids. He left this legacy behind. One of the things that we've learned from Frank is to truly live in the present moment and to create memories with loved ones as often as you can. Frank was all about doing that. It was all about sharing his experiences of life, of looking beyond what he thought was possible so that he can experience things that maybe people in his life would never experience. And a lot of his friends and family lived through Frank because of the places that we visited and the things that he had done. And some people were okay with that, which was cool. He loved that. But he was even more about inspiring people to step out of those comfort zones and to live and to experience life in ways that you never thought were possible. And Frank got to do that. I always share this story and I don't get tired of sharing it. It's about getting on an airplane with him and him sitting by the window and then thanking me for this opportunity to be able to fly and to experience another place, to be someplace in a few hours, and the weather changes and the time zone changes and the experience altogether changes. And if he had just stayed the San Jose guy and never experienced getting on an airplane, never stepped out of his comfort zone and had the courage to leave California and to move to an island that he had no idea what he was getting himself into, and building a family and creating a future and a life and a legacy for himself, would never have known what that could do for him. And then even beyond his physical life, Frank is still impacting people in a way that I'm sure he didn't even think would be possible. Because now I get to share his story. His kids get to share his story. His legacy lives on through his children and his grandchildren. And how amazing is that? There's so much gratitude and so much blessings there. And so you too can experience that sort of transformation and that sort of purpose and joy and living when you look beyond the pain, when you're able to experience healing. And there is no doubt in my mind, and I'm sure in everyone else that has experienced transformation with the grief recovery method, that you can experience that as well. You know, we'll never get all the answers that we want from all the losses that we've experienced, from the trauma that we've experienced. But we can still look beyond and enjoy and have gratitude and find our fond memories to really warm our hearts. And so I wanted to just share that with all of you, especially those of you that clicked interested on my event but didn't get to experience it this past weekend. There's still opportunities to do it. I'm not the only one that does it here on Guam. I have an amazing team of grief recovery specialists that do the work in a different format, but it's still the same grief recovery method. It's the same transformation that you will get if you just step out of that comfort zone, if you just feel that courage, and if you just tell yourself that anything is possible, if you believe in the possibility that change in your healing is possible, right? So direct message me if you were one of those that were interested, or maybe you weren't interested and you're just seeing this now and you have a little bit of curiosity about what the grief recovery method is. I don't only do it on Guam, I could do it online. I do workshops, around the globe. And so, there's opportunities everywhere. There's grief recovery method specialists around the globe, right? So you will have that chance to experience that with me or with someone else. But I invite you to look it up, the grief recovery method. It's an amazing transformational evidence-based. It is evidence-based, which for a lot of people that are intellectually set, might have that mindset. Yeah, it is. It is the only evidence-based program that helps with grief and grief recovery, and that in itself is so amazing. But it's action-based, it's time-based as well, so you don't have to see me for years and years and years before you can find healing. You will only see me through a weekend, or you will see me through 7 sessions or 8 sessions, depending on which program you choose. And from there, you will have tools that you can use for the rest of your life. So I'm going to continue to visit with my angel love, and then go visit, pick up my daughter and my grandkids, and spend the rest of the day with them. So you guys enjoy your Sunday if you are in the States and beyond. And for those of you in Guam, have an amazing Monday and the rest of your week. Love and light, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.